Jordan's phobia, doing intros.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Unscripted. In today's podcast, we're going to talk about something that everybody has, and that is a phobia, and what scared us growing up. So would anyone like to start with any stories about phobias?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, you. Yeah.
I'm going to volunteer you
You.
to start again, so you don't get a choice. All right, yeah, go.
Okay, I'll start. Like, one of the weirder phobias I always remember as a child.
Weirdophobia, is that a phobia of weird people? That's the case. Why are you on this podcast? Like, what are you doing? Get out.
Just every time I look in the mirror.
You should. You should be terrified right now.
Well, growing up for me, I was always scared. I know it sounds a bit weird, but you know, like the plague doctor, like outfit and mask and that.
Oh yeah.
I was always terrified of that growing up. It only stopped around about 5 years ago.
Oh right, that's interesting.
That is weird, but all right. Why not? You know.
And the story of it goes, we're in year 4 of school, and we went on a class trip into York to a place called Barley House, or Barley Hall, should I say?
All right.
Oh yeah, I think I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like an old.
It rings a bell personally, but yeah.
It's like an old Tudor. It's like basically it's a museum house.
Yeah.
And they were doing an exhibition on the plague. So randomly around the house, they would just stand up mannequins with no eyes, outfits randomly dotted around the thing.
I'd be a bit more worried if the mannequins did have eyes, to be fair. But anyway.
That soulless eyes just staring into somebody. But what happened is they took us into this room where they had like a skeleton, so giving us a tour.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's cool. Like, oh, isn't it creepy? And we're all like, yeah, it kind of is. And they said, oh, look behind you. And then behind the door, just this massive figure, massive long white beak, and like soulless white eyes. Just glared at me.
That sounds awesome. Like, that doesn't sound like bad. That sounds dope.
Then for years, it really shit me up. Probably can say. Hopefully, I can take shit in this.
No, banned, muted. No.
Thing is, surely you didn't come across that image or anything to do with plague doctors that often, surely.
You would be surprised.
Would you?
Let's just say, my first impressions of Assassin's Creed were not that good.
Yeah, because wasn't there even a character in the multiplayer or something like that was basically the plague
Oh
doctor
my
and he
God.
wears that outfit, and it's like, oh yeah.
I didn't thought about that.
I missed the Assassin's Creed multiplayer. No, it's a tangent for a different podcast, but yeah.
I just remember I was playing, I think, the first Assassin's Creed, like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, going up and it said, oh, go to the doctor to get healed. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, mate. Yeah, I didn't even think anything of it.
Oh my God.
Basically just had to turn my Xbox 360 off and basically throw it out. No, I didn't.
Dramatic visualization insert here. I mean, I have an Xbox, so I'm very happy to throw it out of a window.
It's to test for the new backwards compatibility.
Yeah. I know that, like, the only, like, to try and sound smart, I'm pretty sure, like, the beak section of the mask, wasn't it, like, full of, like, herbs and stuff like that?
Yeah,
It was meant to,
something like that, wasn't it?
Old folklore says that stuff like that. It was supposed to ward off the plague or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
History is not my area of expertise, but I'm sure I remember something weird like that.
Yeah, we're effectively like a medieval gas mask. Is that
Yeah,
it was,
it really was. Okay. Well, the first fear, and it's the main one that I have, happened around about 2006-ish.
So relatively recent, I guess.
2006? No, 2006-ish. That was when I was like 11. That's not that recent-ish.
An impressionable.
Depends what you mean by recent.
But yeah, it was a little farm called Kettleby Farm, which Harry may remember this for, because that's where my nana used to live.
Yeah, I do remember it now you said it.
At this farm, there was a stream that flowed all the way through this like farmyard, and I'd often wander down it.
You're scared of water, guys. That's the end of this story.
No. And in the direction that it like flowed away from, it didn't go very far before it came to some railway lines, so I couldn't explore that way much. And one day I decided to explore the other direction, like where the water was coming from.
Yeah.
So I followed the stream for about a mile, and
Nice adventure you had there.
came to like a little hollow surrounded by some trees where the stream, I believe, was coming like out of a tube from the farmland. So essentially it was like the drainage of this farm. And as I went into that, unbeknownst to me, because, and I'm only presuming this because of what happened next, I believe there must have been a wasp's nest somewhere around there. And within probably like 10 seconds, I'd been stung a lot of times. And I realized immediately if I froze, they stopped stinging me. But if I moved, they would start stinging me more. So it was like, but the first and only time I've ever had like a fight or flight response, like properly adrenaline and that. So I was so scared, I didn't even dare turn around to the way I'd came. I just like essentially jumped forward up an embankment over one of those fences with the spiky bits on the top. I can't remember what that stuff's called now. Ran across a field as fast as I could and just kept running and running. And there was only like at one point about maybe half a mile like away from where this had happened. I actually even slowed down, like, because my fight and flight response was just that big that I just kept going. I don't think I've ever run quite as fast and as long in my entire life since that point.
Well, you see an angry mob now. And we'll test that with spirit.
Because I also remember when then I'd stopped, I sort of looked behind me to see if any had followed me, and I found a couple of them had actually stuck to my skin. Like there was
I thought that was going to happen. Yeah,
stuck to me. So I batted them off and then just carried on running and running and running until I got inside a building, and I essentially just like slammed the door shut on my nana's house and was just like, just so scared, didn't know what to do. I was just convinced they were outside that door, even though there probably wasn't.
Oh God, no. And you lost them a long time ago.
Yeah, but ever since, they literally give me shivers. Even just the sound of even not necessarily wasps, but sometimes bees, just the sound of them, because they sound very similar. They just give me shivers down my spine. And I'll sometimes, if I think they're near me, I'll be sweating quite a lot because they really scare me that badly. And if I see one in a room with me, it's got to a point where my flight and flight response does work, but it doesn't go to flight anymore. It's fight, and I will kill it no matter what it takes.
Oh dear. I shouldn't laugh, but all I can do is laugh at that. So if you read between the lines, ladies and gentlemen, you can work out that Steve is scared of woodlands. That's Steve's phobia right there.
Hang on. What was it? It has a name. What is it? Xanthophobia. That was how you pronounce it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That sounds more like you're scared of the truth. Sonic the Hedgehog is blue.
Say it
again. Jesus Christ, that is Xanthophobia. Well, it's weird that. I imagine you're not the only one in the world that is like that. I mean, I'll be brutal. I have never in my entire life been stung by a wasp or bee.
Really?
Or anything.
Yeah, neither have I.
No, and it's quite funny because when like I do remember ages ago we were at a car boot and we were selling a load of stuff. In fact, it was somewhat early 2012. We were at a car boot, and it was when I was raising money for my Borneo trip, which is a story for another podcast. And I just remember it was quite a hot summer's day. Also, it wasn't actually that early 2012. Whatever, it was 2012. Anyway, it was quite a hot day, and there was like a stall that was selling just pretty much solely fizzy drinks. And obviously, I don't know if you know, but fizzy drinks and sugar and sweet. That's what attracts like wasps and bees and things like that.
Yeah.
So there was quite a lot of them, and my grandma was getting quite freaked out because she's not scared of them. She's scared of me getting stung by them because she's scared that I'm allergic to the stings.
Yeah.
And so she don't want me to like have an allergic reaction or anything. I'm just like, Gran, it'll be fine. And then, as if by the whims of fate being an arsehole, she then got stung by a wasp.
Oh my god!
Like, I was just there, just like, well, irony. But in my opinion, the funnier part of the story was we're at a car boot. And we were selling a lot of old stuff, and a lot of my old stuff is a lot of like action figures and toys and old games and things like that.
Yeah.
We had a few, let's just say, like a younger audience normally at our stall, and I remember we had a family, and there must have been like 3 or 4 kids at the stall when my grandma got stung by a wasp, and her innate reaction was to very loudly shout, "You absolute bastard!" And it just made me laugh my head off. It was so funny. Like it was great. It was so funny. It was fantastic. That has nothing to do with fears or phobias. I just thought I'd share that fun story with y'all.
Just a load of kids just looking at each other really confused.
Yeah. There was this parent who looked really mad until she realised what had happened. It was so funny.
I mean, actually, I don't know if Jordan was next to me as well. Harry definitely was. I think, because I can't remember which con it was. I think Jordan probably was as well. But I've actually been stung when you've been like I've been next to you again. And I think it was is either MC in Birmingham or MC in Manchester. I can't remember which one of them. But I remember just being like, just like feeling a like sting on the back of my neck, and was like, "What the hell's that?" And somehow actually managed to pull the like, what's actually stinger? That's it. Well, that's what it's called, isn't it? Just straight out, straight away. And I was just like, "Bastard stung me!" Like didn't even see it. Just suddenly got stung, and I can't remember what. It must have been a costume where I was able to get with my fingers. I can't have been somewhere wearing gloves, because I never would have done it. But just being able to just pull it out straight away, and just being really confused that I just suddenly got stung out of nowhere.
I do not remember that like at all. Okay, that sounds weird.
See, I think it only just like got me. It didn't like really properly get me, if you know what I mean. It only got enough to leave the stinger in, but didn't really properly sting me, because it was no more than if I'd got like pricked by a needle, where normally a wasp sting's a lot more painful than that.
Yeah, probably just hadn't injected the venom or anything at the time.
Hopefully. Well, actually, I never saw, because that's the thing about wasp stings. They leave like a pheromone or something.
Yes.
So if you've got stung, then other wasps.
Yeah, it's the same with both of them. I'm not 100% sure if it's the same with hornets, because they're normally a bit more solo. But yeah, like if you get stung by a wasp, chances are you're going to get stung by more than one, because they're all going to be like. It's effectively, I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically a threat pheromone. So like they'll sting one person, they'll go. It's almost like a marking, if you will,
like an air raid marker.
Yeah, a little bit. And they'll just be like, yeah, this thing is whatever is a threat, and so all the other wasps will be like, oh, okay, we need to defend ourselves. Well, bam, and then you'll get stung. So. Yeah, I remember, to be honest, for me, it was, again, like you two, it was a while ago. This isn't something that persists nowadays. I just remember, like, quite a few years ago, it was actually towards, like, the start of school, towards the start of secondary school, to be more precise.
Yeah.
I had a really weird, or I find it weird now, but I had a massive like fear of zombies.
Yeah.
All right.
And like just I couldn't even like look at them on the screen. I couldn't even like play like Call of Duty or anything like that. Like I couldn't even cope in any way, shape, or form with the concept of zombies. And
Yeah.
looking back at this does not persist now. Like I've watched enough of The Walking Dead that I'm satisfied. Play like all the games. Like I genuinely right now I could not give two fucks. It's hilarious.
I'm gonna say,
Yeah.
if you do, you're very good at hiding it.
Yeah. Well, there you go. There you go. But yeah, now I'm just like perfectly fine. I just remember, I think it was mostly because I had quite a sheltered childhood. Like I was never exposed to a lot when I was a kid, if you know what I mean. Or
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
certain media when I was a kid, especially the horror media. I was never really exposed to it, like pretty much at all. And because of that, I'd never really been introduced to the concept of a zombie or like anything like that. And I
Yeah.
just remember, this is going to make me sound like an absolute bitch.
No,
But I just remember I believe it was year 7, there was a massive like boom of a game called Plants vs. Zombies.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody was playing it. And I just sort of was like, what the hell's this? Why are the plants fighting zombies? And I was very confused with the concept of a zombie. And then I eventually got introduced to it through that, which is such a cartoony version of what an actual zombie is. Like, it makes no... Like, if it was The Walking Dead, you'd maybe understand that. But, like...
Yeah.
It is, isn't it? But it's not. It's a crappy little cartoon. And I was just there, like... For some reason, that triggered, like, a phobia that must have lasted at least a year or two, I believe, before I properly... Like, another mini story attached to that is ages ago, when the very first Call of Duty Black Ops came out, when you complete the campaign, you unlock like a secret map, and a secret zombies map.
Yeah.
And what it does is it effectively kicks you straight into it when you finish the campaign.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just remember I was like, I just finished the campaign, and then this weird cutscene played, and I was like, what the hell's going on? Skipped the cutscene like an idiot. And then was like, what the hell's going on? And then realised, oh, this is Call of Duty Zombies, and freaked the fuck out. Like, I was just then genuinely just there, just like, holy shit, I just really panicked. It was so weird.
It must have been like terrifying, especially if you didn't like out of nowhere, it just pulls down barricades and stuff.
Yeah, it was really freaking strange, and I'll be honest, I don't understand it now. In all honesty, I look back at it and I'm thinking, this is dumb. Like, why the hell?
Yeah.
Why was this even a thing? And I'm not Steve. I didn't look up what the special name of it was, but
Undeadophobia.
You what?
Undeadophobia.
Undeadophobia. Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds right. Well, yeah, it was just that's pretty much my only like one from years ago, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I understand. So yeah, when it comes to spiders, I'm not really I don't mind the little house spiders. Like I would say hello to them every morning. But the ones
what a weirdo.
Yeah.
We totally don't all do that, but what a weirdo. God damn.
But the ones that I always don't like are the really like cartoony over the top spiders.
All right.
You know, a little bit like the big one in the Chamber of Secrets Harry Potter film.
That was a snake.
A big spider in it as well.
Well, yeah, I remember the spider.
Yeah, I remember. Isn't that in the first one? I don't know. I don't really know Harry Potter despite my name. Like, there is a big spider in it, but I would go more Shelob from Lord of the Rings, who is a much better example because it's a much better series of films. Hey, roast me in the comments. In fact, please don't. I have low self-esteem as it is. Don't do that. No, yeah, sorry, as you were saying, Joe.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just never like even like tarantulas. I don't like big. I'm alright with little spiders. I just don't like big spiders in general. I like the over cartoony ones.
Yeah,
I don't know why, they just creep me out a little bit.
yeah, which is odd
Alright.
because I've heard that we like a relatively animal-based background. I've known quite a few people with arachnophobia, and normally it is actually the other way around. Like normally people don't like the smaller ones, but are actually pretty chill with the big ones, which is weird, I admit, but it's actually strangely more common, or it's more common from what I've seen anyway. It makes no sense.
Yeah, that is really weird.
It is super strange, but yeah, that is the thing. You know what my consistent irrational fear is? It's the changing of backgrounds for no reason. Like it baffles me, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
know what you're talking about.
Then neither do I really. I just thought I'd bring that up for no apparent reason. No, but let's go on to the actual serious one now. I don't really have like a persistent phobia, if you get me. Like most of things I've been like scared of or freaked me out for whatever the hell reason, I've normally overcome it.
Yeah.
Like
all right.
Yeah, like when I mentioned about zombies earlier, like I don't give two jives now. Like it doesn't bother me at all. Sometimes there'll be something where like I don't know, you'll watch something or you'll play something and it'll kind of freak you out a little bit on the inside, make you feel a bit weird.
Yeah.
But then you just sort of go back to it after a while and you almost think to yourself, why did this do this to me? Like why does that makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it was simpler times back then.
You what, sorry?
It was simpler times back then.
Simpler times back then. Yeah, simpler times as in like 2 days ago, but yeah. Yeah, but the only one that's air quote persistent for me is I wouldn't even call it like a phobia or a fear, but I'm not massive on heights.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
But at the same time, like I'm fine if it's quite secure and you're safe, if you know what I mean. Like,
yeah.
And so, like what I would say is I would be pretty hype and pretty down to do like a skydive like you did years ago. What was it now? 2017 you did it?
I don't remember.
I
know it was after the wind walk, and the wind walk was like 2 years ago. So,
all right, there you go. But yeah, so like I'd be super down to do that. I think it'd be hilarious. But that's because like you're with an instructor. There's a parachute and there's a backup parachute. You're fine. There's countless numbers of things that are there for your safety. So I think you'd be fine.
Yeah.
Same with like even like a bungee jump or just anything like that, I'm fine. But if like I don't know, stood on the edge of like a cliff or something and you just sort of there and it's like, oh shit, this is a bit precarious, might want to step backwards a little bit.
Yeah, there's no safety protocols in place. No health and safety.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Although, like, arguably, in my opinion, like, health and safety is a state of mind, but, you know, whatever.
It is.
So, yeah, that's it, really. Well,
I definitely know what you mean. Well, no, I know what you mean by that, because that's actually one of the ones on my list.
You gotta fear health and safety.
I put it as doing something you can easily do, but feeling unsafe when you're doing it. Is how it's like, because I've done things where, like you say, where it's height based, and I know I've been secure and I feel completely fine. But if I'm ever doing something at height where I maybe for some reason, maybe I am perfectly safe, but don't quite feel it, especially if it's stuff where, like, I don't know, because like some high wire stuff, like when you're being connected with cables and that, the cables don't look very thick, and you're just like, oh, I'm not sure about that. Even though it probably is perfectly safe, it probably could hold twice my weight. But just that niggling thought of, oh, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Kind of reminds me of the time, it's not local to me, but relatively local to where I am is a place called Normby Hall. You're probably aware of it, Steve.
Yeah.
And they do Go Ape there. And yeah, I went through that with some old friends of the family, and that was great fun. And again, like the reason why I didn't care about that, you like perfectly locked in. There's like I say, infinite amount of safety procedures. So it was just fun than anything. We started singing Country Roads at one point. It was how great it was.
You need to do that.
Like, you what, John?
To say you need to do that like someone kicks you off the zip line.
Oh, we did. We went down zip lines singing Country Roads. It was great. It's great fun. The only annoying part about it is there was like some 12-year-old behind me who kept telling me to hurry up, so I wanted to cut his rope. But anyway, we'll ignore that. But like Steve, as you were saying, would like something like that freak you out, or would you be all right with
that? Well, what when I'm secure, you mean?
Well, like something like Go Ape, where you are secure.
Oh no, that's perfectly fine. I've done.
You'd be cool with that.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with stuff where I know I'm secure. I think sometimes as well, it's when you're not the one necessarily in control of like changing like your clips or whatever. I'll be honest, I think the main one what got me a bit like this was from I forget what it's called now. It's the place not far from, well, it's not that near Scotland. I forgot, Lake District, that was it. And they had this white like cliff face, which wasn't massively high. It was maybe 200 foot high or something.
Yeah.
And it was quite simple. At the top, they had like a simple like, what's the word? Just like something that the rope could run through. On the bottom, you would have somebody that's like got the weight of essentially your ballast or whatever, and you're just climbing up. Well, anyway, the person I was doing it with clearly wasn't like following the instructions quite right. And when I dropped, and there wasn't particularly that close a weight to me, they went up as I went down, and I felt quite scared because I was coming to the ground quite quickly. Luckily, the instructor managed to like grab them and just pull them down.
Jesus.
But I was that kind of scared me.
Yeah,
I think that was maybe one of the reasons that put me off. Some stuff like that, yeah.
That's just funny. Again, something I probably shouldn't laugh at, but it's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's still alive, he didn't get hurt. It's fine, comment section. Like, you can chill out.
It's like some type of Looney Tunes cartoon where there's flying over the side.
Yeah. Oh man, I miss Looney Tunes. It was so good.
Yeah, that one does actually have a name, and I'm seeing if I can remember how you pronounce it. I think it's Agoraphobia. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Agoraphobia.
It's Agora phobia. So I'm not quite sure how you pronounce that.
Sounds like Agoraphobia. That sounds
something like that.
Yeah, it'll probably be on the screen, so you know.
Yeah.
We're not smarter than a 10-year-old Noel Edmonds, so don't get at us, all right?
Them 10-year-olds on that show, though, how the hell they knew some of that stuff?
I know, it was BS, I'm telling you. They just got, like, some privileged private school assholes to come in. I'm allowed to say that. My mum's partner went to private school, it's fine. So, one thing I wouldn't mind just, like, talking about is just, because, like, fears are obviously such a big thing, and there's so many out there. Like, there's infinite amount of, like, whatever the hell are phobias. There's so many that, personally, I just cannot comprehend, and I don't really... I understand at the end of the day, phobias are irrational fears. Like, it makes no sense to be scared of them. But some of them just baffle me to almost no end, and it's kind of ironic, because technically Steve mentioned it earlier, but ones that pretty much get me to almost no end is just fear of animals, and it can be anything specific or in general.
All right, yeah.
Because I just never... Okay, yes, I admit, with my like animal-based background, that's probably why I'm just not scared of them. But like things like no disrespect, Steve, but it's a wasp. It's like that big. It's not gonna do out to you at the end of the like. Yeah, it'll hurt, but like it's not gonna do out to you. And 99% of the time, it's your fault you get stung. And that's kind of almost the same with everything. Like, I don't really get people who are scared of dogs, because chances are it's because they were bit when they were young, so now they're like nervous around animals and dogs and stuff like that. But it's the lack of understanding, in my opinion, that triggers the fear. And okay, like,
yeah, I agree with that.
I personally don't really trust people who don't feel fear, because fear, if you feel fear, it means your imagination's working, and if your imagination's working, it means your brain's working, which is great. And
I'm just going to cut in there. I've got another phobia I forgot to talk about.
Did you? Oh,
I've got a couple.
Agoraphobia.
No, shut up, Jack. Stop pointing out that my most notable phrases are quotes from other characters. Shut the fuck up, all right? but yeah, like, so it's that lack of understanding, in my opinion, that is kind of the drive, in my opinion, to a lot of like animal phobias, especially people who are scared of like reptiles and insects and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, people have a massive false sense of security with like fluffy things. And just because it's fluffy means it's not dangerous. And I'm like, no, you're a moron if you think that. Like, no disrespect, people watching, but all I'm saying is I would 100% rather be locked in a room with like 10 venomous tarantulas than like one raccoon. because they are vicious mother sucks, but like nobody would think a raccoon is that bad. But god damn, they would rip your freaking throat out if they wanted to. Like, god damn.
It's a little animal I need to put in I'm a Celebrity. Just a raccoon.
Yeah, if they want lawsuits, then yeah, sure.
Oh, it goes, rips the face off.
Yeah, just get the massive like claw mark down their entire face, or like what happened to one of my bosses and friends, has like a giant chunk taken out of his shoulder. Like, yeah, that would be great fun. Oh dear. But yeah, that's just like things I don't really understand. I don't get it. Like, I don't know if she'll be super happy with me talking about this, but my mum has a massive irrational phobia of moths.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like, I genuinely don't get it, but like, she just can't stand moths, like, of any real size or anything. Like,
Is it not?
You what?
Just like random house moths that'll fly in.
Yeah, like legit, like ones that are like that big to Atlas moths, which are like that big. Like, any of them, she's just immediately petrified of them for whatever the hell reason. But butterflies, they're awesome.
Shoot me wrong, are they not basically the same thing?
There are obvious differences, but at the same time, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So a butterfly does that, a moth does that. There you go, that's the difference.
You learn stuff here.
You do learn stuff here on the I forgot the name of the podcast. Unscripted. Unscripted. You know what else you learn, guys? To remember the name of the damn series you're in. But anyway, enough of me rambling. What about you two? Do you two have anything like you don't really get in terms of like phobias, or anything like you just want to talk about in general?
A lot of these phobias, I think, that we've talked about, they do crop up a fair bit in real life, but can be in manageable amounts, if you get me.
All right.
Like, your mum's not going to see a moth every day.
Oh, God, no. God.
You're not going to be stung by a wasp every day. You know what I mean? Like zombies, you can avoid them. But the ones that confuse me are the phobias that people can avoid.
All right.
Can't avoid, should I say?
Can't avoid it. Yeah, I was going to say.
Literally a phobia where someone's scared of the colour yellow.
What?
Oh, crap. Does this mean I have to take my shirt off? God damn.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Right, it's called Xanthophobia.
Xanthophobia.
Yeah, this is where it gets weird. It includes, they may fear anything yellow, including the sun, daffodils, and yellow paint. In its most aggressive form, symptoms include an overwhelming fear of even the phrase yellow.
I'm just imagining us like talking to someone in a con and just going, "Hey, yeah, Ruby's great. It's like 4 colours. It's red, white, black, yellow." And then someone starting to mind just like, like bro, we really shouldn't laugh at that. But
I mean, I know it's a genuine illness, but
yeah.
I wonder where that comes from, though. What
the hell would be the root
possibly
cause
could
of that?
lead?
Yeah. Unless someone got abused by a banana or something. I don't know.
just like smack round the face with a banana as a child.
Wait, what the hell? Does that, you said the sun as well, didn't you? So
Yeah.
like, does that mean they're just basically they're constantly self-isolating, so they don't notice a difference right now? Or
The
something
original
like
goths.
that? Yeah, like what the hell?
But how the hell? I don't know how you can function in life being scared of the colour yellow.
Another one I don't understand that I've actually got myself, and I don't know what you'd actually call this, if you'd actually call this a phobia or not, but
All right.
you two are bound to have seen this happen, but I'm really like bad with jump scares from different things.
Yeah.
Like I think I was thinking about this. I was like, I'm trying to remember what would be like my first jump scare that I could actually remember. I think that probably the first one was back in 2007 with the episode Doctor Who Blink, The Weeping Angels.
Oh God,
That was
that
probably
was
like my first like thing of jump scares.
I
But
hated that
I don't know
episode
why
so much.
they get. I don't know why they get me so bad. Like the fact it's not. I think it's because when I'm unaware of something happening, and it surprises me with such intensity that my body just doesn't know how to react.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because that's just it. I know what you mean, because like I think everybody has got done with the jump scare at some point. You know what I mean? Like it's almost inevitable. All that reminds me of though is when I believe, I don't actually remember what episode it was, but I'm sure we did a react to it because you two were like next to me.
I'm trying. It's the one where the Grim comes out, isn't it? But I can't remember what episode
Yeah,
it is either.
it's the guy's jump scare in volume 7. I just remember, like, I was just sat there and it happened. And I was just like, oh, all right. And I just remember you, Steve, just going, just like, ugh.
Yeah.
And I was there like, what? Yeah. But to be fair, like when I was younger, I was never really exposed to like horror as almost like a genre.
Yeah.
So like, in a way, I'm a bit of like a coward's the wrong word, but like a bit of a bitch when it comes to like horror stuff. So like horror movies, horror games, I just basically can't or refuse to play them because I don't really like the feeling of being scared and get very confused when people like that. You know what I mean? Like I get that horror games and movies definitely do have like kind of cool stories, or they can do.
Yeah.
Other than that, like I really don't get it, to be fair with you.
No, I don't understand it either.
I don't understand why people watch them just solely to be scared. Like, I don't know. There's some just random jump scary videos.
Yeah.
But I understand that maybe like a creepy atmosphere. Because it plays I always find with horror films and things, they're always a lot worse in people's heads.
Yeah, it's always psychological, isn't it?
Yeah, like you say there, like you probably couldn't watch like horror films and things. I don't think you realise in a way, as silly as it sounds, how bad they are, if you get me. Like they're not as bad. Yeah, like they're not as bad. Yeah. They're not as bad as what some people make out they are.
Yeah,
that's my opinion. But the other one is usually they are very much tied to real life. Like every famous horror film and all the scary ones all draw inspiration from real life. Because that's the true horror experience.
What you mean, like, is that like slashers and stuff like that?
practically every slasher is based off a real-life serial killer.
Sweet.
All right.
Telling me there's a real Jason Voorhees walking around out there. Nice.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, I was going to say, I know that Annabelle, is it? That one's based off a real event.
Very
the doll
loosely.
thing. Yeah.
I was going to say, is it? Like, what?
The Annabelle doll does exist.
Yeah.
The stories around it are semi-made up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. That's why it's a movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just remember this as well. One thing I will say is, though, that when I was younger, when the film first came out, and I can't remember what year it would be, I could have a look, but I remember seeing on like a shelf of DVDs, the DVD of Shaun of the Dead. And I remember that really creeped me out as a kid, the front cover of Shaun of the Dead. But now I've watched it, I'm like, this isn't scary at all in any way.
Yeah, that's
but it's
brilliant.
just like the cover for when I was a little kid, because I think it's meant to be like on a train or something where they're all like pressed up against the window.
Yeah,
that really creeped me out as a little kid.
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, I was thinking they're not in a train; they stood there in police uniform. Oh wait, wrong film.
Yeah. Weirdly though, I do think Hot Fuzz is creepier than Shaun of the Dead.
What were like weird cults and that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a point, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we're all controlled by the lizard people. Hope you remember that. Well, yeah. Technology's evil. Just look at Elon Musk. Like, goddamn. You telling me he's not like a time traveler or some jive? Come back from the future. All these amazing inventions, inventing them early to prevent an alien invasion in 2040. Boom, there you go.
No, the real secret is he's really Nikola Tesla, and that's why he's named his cars Teslas, because he's named them after himself.
Yeah. Oh my god. Is it annoying that I could see that and almost want that to be true? Because there's so many people out
except
there.
he wouldn't have the right kind of accent.
And there's so many people out there who don't know what Tesla coils is, and it annoys the hell out of me. It's like,
people not know what Tesla coils are.
There are some. Right, and on that note, I think that's the podcast.
Yeah.
Right, well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to our ramble, and we hope you enjoy it. Drop a comment down below if you have any crazy phobias that you yourself have or have heard of.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear them because they're funny. If yeah. So yeah, Jordan, why don't you take us out?
I've got a phobia of outros.
Right then, come on and Steve, it's our turn. This is why we always have to bloody do it. Drop a like.
Leave a comment.
Subscribes, always appreciated.
And don't forget to ring the notification bell to hear about our latest videos.
I'll say something too.
No, so you don't have a phobia of that, do you? All right, thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and we will see you in the next Unscripted. Bye.